Well, he was a wild one. Certainly when he was out here at Sunset Marquee, it was part of his lost weekend. Being John Lennon, he did things in excess, and his weekend lasted about a year and a half. But other than that, he was a brilliant guy, a fun guy. You know, people always ask me what he was like, and I tell them he was like the guy that you see in the videos, because he wasn't really an actor. He was very real and very grounded and very funny. You know, people ask me what kind of woman is Yoko Ono. I always say she's the kind of woman that John Lennon could marry, because Yoko has a great sense of humor. Because you couldn't live with John Lennon without having a great sense of humor, and he certainly did. I think that's one of the things that we got along on, was that I have kind of a cynical New York, common sense of humor, and John was the same way. He saw the world and all its faults, but he had great admiration and respect for everybody. And you know, like most people everywhere I meet are always just striving for peace. Everybody wants to just live at home with their families in peace, and some people want peace so much that they're willing to kill anybody around them that they feel slightly threatens them. But John said if everybody would just go home and live with their families, there'd be peace in the world. If everybody would just, you know, accept who they are and what they are, there would be peace in the world. And that's what he worked for, and that's what Yoko works for, and hopefully, and that's what it seems like we all work for. You know, everybody I speak to talks about peace and love, and they all respect John Lennon, and then they fight with their neighbors, or they fight with their mother, or they fight with their brother, and there is no peace until everybody stops fighting. And that's what John was all about. It was about peace and fun. We had a lot of fun. When I took this picture, he had called me to his apartment one day and asked me to take some pictures for an album cover for the Walls and Bridges album. And basically the album cover is a series of portraits of his face, kind of close on. And he makes a lot of different expressions. And they made the album cover, they had the plan of cutting the photo into strips. And the strips would be around the front. You could flip them over on the back and change the way the mouth was, or change the way the eyes were, and change the photo around. And there was other photos inside the album. In the old days, record albums had sleeves, and they had pictures too, and you could put that picture underneath the cover picture and put the flaps on top. And it was kind of a toy. Instead of just a photo, the photo had a lot of different aspects, and it changed into many different photos and many different personalities. And I think John really liked that idea, and he wanted me to take the pictures for it. It seems very simple, but you really had to do kind of a professional shoot where every photo was exactly the same size, and he just went through a whole series of expressions, and we did, you know, smiling and laughing and, you know, frowning and all these different expressions with his glasses on, with different pairs of glasses, and he had 6 different pairs of glasses. And then eventually he put all the glasses on at once, and that's the picture that was actually used on one of the covers. And a lot of people liked that a lot. It was a great session with him. And then after we took the pictures, because he wanted the pictures done quickly, the record company was actually ready to send him to a very high-name photographer. And John didn't want to have to go to a studio and do makeup and styling and catering and all the deal that goes with a whole day to do a shoot. He was in the midst of mixing the album, and he wanted to get something done quickly. So he called me to come over to his apartment, to the penthouse that he had. He was still separated from Yoko Ono at the time in 1974. I think it was around August 30th of 1974. And he had an apartment on the east side of New York, and we were up on the roof, and we were taking the pictures for the album cover, and then he said, let's take some more pictures, so we have all the pictures ready for the publicity campaign. And I started taking some pictures on the roof, and I had given him this shirt about a year earlier. You know, the rumor has kind of gone, the story's gone around. People think I took my shirt off and gave it to John. I actually had given him a shirt a year earlier. I used to wear this kind of shirt all the time. I had about half a dozen of them. I wore it all the time, but I changed them every day. I was a clean person. And sometimes when I saw the guys in Times Square sold them on the street, it wasn't from a store or a company or anything like that. It was just some guys made it at home. I really liked the graphics. I thought it was very strong, very simple, and there's a power to thinking about New York City. Talking about New York City, there's a power to it. At the time, John lived in New York, and he really enjoyed living there. He said that if he had lived in the time of Rome, that he would live in Rome, but it wasn't Roman times, it was the 70s, and so he thought that New York was the center of the art world, and he wanted to live in New York. And I thought this really kind of summed it up, so I asked him if he still had the shirt I had given him a year earlier. And since he had been to LA and back a few times during that lost weekend, I was surprised that he knew right where it was. He went down and put it on, he came back, and he looked really great. And he looks very confident, he looks very very much like a pop star with the sunglasses, but at the same time he looks accessible and available and comfortable. And I think that's some of the reasons that people seem to like it. It has become one of the most popular pictures of John Lennon. Certainly, I never thought it would be. When I heard the Beatles way before I ever met John Lennon, I never dreamed that I would be the person who took a picture that was known around the world of somebody who's had tens of thousands of pictures taken of him. He was very comfortable having his picture taken after having so many photo sessions before I met him. So he was very easy for me to photograph. And I'm very proud of taking this picture because so many people seem to like it. And they admire John Lennon as I do, and they get inspiration from his ideas and from the things he said. And I think it's more important that people listen to his music and listen to what he said. And I'm glad I was able to take the picture and remind people of who John was and what he looked like, but I think it's important to listen to what he actually said.